Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. So first of all, this is my new phone, my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra that I just got. This is the first review with this phone. We're going to see how it goes. I'm recording this one just factory settings. This is full HD, 30 frames per second. I'll play around with some other things, but this is going to be, this is a Mezco 112 collective figure. It's going to be one of those long, epic reviews just because of all the little doodads and everything that comes with it. And I just didn't want to mess around with like Ultra HD, or certainly, I don't think I'll ever do 8K, maybe. We'll see. But for the time being, this is just factory settings. I just am seeing how it goes. Already, I can tell you in front of my eyes, just the display looks better, but maybe that's, sort of a halo effect, wishful thinking type of thing. I don't know. We'll see what it is when the final product hits. But anyway, very excited. Mezco 112 Collective Indiana Jones. This was a must-have for me. Indiana Jones, the first three movies are just cornerstones of my childhood and my pop culture existence. And Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in its own way is a cornerstone to me, because it's the movie that made me so angry I started writing about pop culture. The very first post on Needless Things was a few days after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. It was my review, first movie review I ever wrote, first thing I ever posted on the internet. So that movie was bad in lots of ways. But now we're taking a look at something I expect to be pretty good. And we've got a beautiful box here. You'll notice it is a larger box than your typical Mezco. That's because I totally forgot about this. This includes the altar that was in the first movie, that was in Raiders, which is very exciting because I've got enough room for sort of small diorama pieces in my Mezco shelves. So I'm pretty happy to see that in there. I've got Nosferatu's coffin, John Wick's chest, like things about this size I really like in that Mezco section. So yeah, here it is. Let's get into it. The box is only so exciting, right? I don't know which side is going to be best to pull from. I'm just going to open up both of these flaps and we'll see what happens. This, I don't remember when it went up for pre-order, but Mezco, I think Mezco's staff might have been hit pretty severely, because it used to be you would get the notification that your item was shipping soon. I gotta be careful with this box because I actually keep these. It used to be you'd get your notification of your item is shipping soon, and then a couple days later your item would ship. Now you get your notification, or charging soon, I guess. Now you get that notification, and it's like a month later the thing ships. But, whatever. When it comes, right? So we've got the sort of product care guidelines pointing out that these are adult collectibles. Be careful with them. And then an instruction sheet for how to get some of the things to interact. Oh, gross. Cobweb with spiders. I could do without that. I like, because Mezco didn't used to do this. There used to be sort of little items included with their stuff that would end up being a mystery as to what the heck you're supposed to do with them. And that's still the case some of the time, because as you can see, there are only a few things on this, and there are going to be a dozen little accessories in here, but we'll figure it out as we go. As with every 112 collective release, you've got multiple trays here. The bottom tray is usually the least fun from my perspective. We'll go ahead and get everything out of this one so we can set it to the side. Ooh, challenge there. So multiple hands, obviously a trademark of any 112 collective release. I am not going to get super detailed on these. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so first thing with this new phone, there is no 2x zoom. There is only a 3x, although I'm guessing you can scale like you could with the old phone, which, by the way, the old phone was a Google Pixel 6 Pro. But now we've got a 3x zoom, so I guess that's just what I'll be using for now. You can see the different types of hands we've got here. We'll test them out once we get the figure out as to how easy it is to swap them. Mezco's gotten to a point where the pegs are generally sturdy enough to not worry about too much. You got a little bag for storage, which I never use. I did at first. And then I realized I was just going to keep the boxes for all the 112 collective figures I got. I do use the stands for these. For this one, I'll just be using the stand as is. But every 112 collective figure comes with this incredible armature. It is the strongest armature, the best one I've ever had for any action figures because they stay. I've got an Iron Man, a Deadpool. I've got a few figures that I used this armature to suspend them above this base. And how this works, I've explained it before, but might as well do it again here. I say how it works. This is how I've always done this, is you go in through the bottom here and you use the armature to pop the little peg out. And then you plug the armature in right there, and that's how you would use it if you were going to use that. Which I will not be for Indiana Jones. And that just pops right back in there. But this is the best armature in the business. I've like I said, I've had figures suspended for years, and this never sags or droops or anything. It's incredible. So we'll take that one. Well, let's keep that there. Put this off to the side here. And that is it. This is heavy. I'm really curious to see what this altar is made of. I think we're going to look at the figure last because I'm dying to see this altar. We've got a big piece of foam holding it in place. Oh, so this is like a resin or something. Oh, it would have been nice if that depressed a little bit. But still, really great looking piece. Let's see. Let's move this up here. We'll do a little zoom so we can get a closer look at the detail on this. Oh, wow. The moss is flocked. Wow. What a nice touch that I did not anticipate. I mean, you can see this is just about flawless. I mean, it looks incredible. I'm not going to put it side by side with what it looked like in the movie, but because as I've said before, when I'm doing reviews, I want to look at things and I want them to look right to me. I'm not concerned about every little detail. I'm not looking for replicas. I'm looking for great toys. And I realize that's not how everybody looks at that stuff, and that's fine. But for me, like looking at this, does this look right? And yes, it does. But like I said, I do wish this depressed a little bit. That would be kind of cool. But then they couldn't have made it out of this material, which it might be polystone, it might be resin. I don't know. It's cool to the touch, and it's got a if you can hear that, it's probably polystone is actually my guess. But whatever the case, they couldn't, if this had depressed, they probably couldn't have made it out of this. And it would be cheap plastic, and it would have a lever on the back, and it just wouldn't be the same as what we're looking at now. So I am glad they did it the way that they did it, because this is great, and it's going to look awesome on the shelf. Really beautiful piece. All right, let's set that off to the side. Got lots to get into over here, and rightfully so. Oh, let me go back out. How do we do this? And you know what's funny? There's really not as much in here as there is in some other sets, and I'm okay with that. I'm getting to a point, I mentioned this the last Mezco review I did, which I can't recall what it was right now. I'm almost getting a little sick of so many accessories with certain toy lines. Because the stuff just ends up, in the case of the Mezco things, back in the box, because I do keep them. But in other lines, in bags, in drawers. It's like the Ark being stowed away in some warehouse, never to be seen again until 3 more movies are made. But yeah, it's kind of like, okay. I'm just trying to decide. We'll go ahead and get to the figure. Let's go ahead and get to Dr. Jones. Oh, look at those pants. They look great. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna say I've got a fan running. It's gonna blow that all over the place. I even keep the little pieces of film and everything. Let's see. That's gonna go there. Hopefully, don't fall over. Cool. Dr. Jones, Dr. Henry Jones Jr. Jr.? And see, that's where they're going to get me, because I'm not going to be able to help myself if they make a Sean Connery. My guess looking at this is that there's maybe a magnet in here to hold that in place somehow. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Maybe. I'm a little concerned about this. Holsters are such a pain in toys. They just never do. Is there a wire in that? Anyway, holsters just never work like they're intended. And it's very frustrating. That's scary too. How is this? Oh, is it just sewn on, I think? Here, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm looking at. I realize I should be looking at his portrait before I look at anything, but I want to see. If we can get in there. No, I can't quite get it open. And I don't want to put any stress on however it is attached, but it looks like it's just sewn on. And there is a wire in this that folds it down. And I think, yeah, there's a wire in that as well. That's interesting. We'll see how that works once there's a sidearm in there. Look at the detail on that shirt. Let's see. So, all right, let's take it as it came directly out of the box, and we'll move on from there. Leather jacket. Not as much wear as you might expect. Oh, it's kind of folded up a little bit right there. But it seems like it's going to recover all right. Look at the loops. The little belt pieces. Actually, you know, I take that back. There is some wear around some of these edges here. Oh yeah, look. Oh, that's great. Gosh. The detail that they put into these is unbelievable. Portrait. I mean, Harrison Ford, notoriously difficult to capture. Oh, but is that pupil? Okay, we're going to do a 5-time zoom and see what happens here. Oh! Okay, that's as much as we can do. No, that's painted accurately. And look at that. Oh, and you know what? So you can see that seam around his hair there. And I'm telling you right now, it's very apparent because we're zoomed in 5 times, and then that hair piece pops off. Well, comes off, maybe not super easily, revealing a monster underneath. And then we get the fedora. And I gotta say, I think this was the way to do this. Because this way, you have the fedora and the hair. I don't know, though. The seam, I was going to say it's not apparent to me, but it kind of is. I sort of wish they'd done it. Well, but if they'd done it the Hasbro way, let me zoom back out. Well, I'll just leave him right there. If they'd done it, look at the stubble. The stubble looks so great. If they had done this the Hasbro way, then you would have hair attached to the hat, and the hat wouldn't be a separate piece anymore. I don't know. Because looking at the hair, that ridge is kind of noticeable. Like, even to the naked eye, obviously zoomed in, we see all kinds of imperfections and nubs and things on any action figure that we don't see with the naked eye. But even now, looking at this, like, it's not bad from the front, but it kind of does stand out from every other angle. Here, I'll zoom back out so you're seeing. It is noticeable. Are there any heads that don't utilize this hair piece? No, there are not. So all of the heads, I don't know which one I'm going to go with here. Probably well, I was going to say probably a smirking head, but then smirking is always my default for, like, I always like a smirking Han Solo. But I think that's just a Harrison Ford thing, right? Like, that's his thing, is that smirk that he has, that sort of wise ass, trust me but don't. Okay. So here's the heads. We'll put this back off to the side and take a look at these different portraits. So, your default portrait. Oh, I think that's the one. A little bit of a smirk. Angry. Nazis, I hate these guys face, I would say. Rightfully so. And then the worried, holy cow, concerned face. Let's put the fedora on. Oh, let's put it on the right way. Let's see what look we get with that. Look at that. Kind of like that one. I'm not going to display them on the shelf like that, but that looks great. I love that one. Well, and that also brings up, I'm not displaying him with the hair. He's got to have, because I'm not going to have him holding the hat. He's going to be doing other more interesting things than that. Oh, I probably should have done that for. Well, I don't need to take that off. I mean, I don't know. Angry face is good. You don't have a lot of, like, just straight up angry face figures. I'm putting that one on him for now, and we're going to see how that goes. So, jacket does come off. Always be careful pulling the hands off of 112 figures. They've gotten their plastics and their thicknesses and everything down pretty well, so it's not really an issue anymore, but I have in the past, it's been years, I have in the past broken the pegs on those trying to swap hands out. So are those sleeves going to be able to roll up? I'm wondering. And I'm also trying to remember, did he push his sleeves up in Raiders at any point? Let's see. Let's get some different hands going on here. I need another table down here. Or actually, I just need to clean up my workbench a little bit. That realistically is the answer to that. We're going to put pistol in his left hand and the whip in his right hand. And then, later if we need to, we'll do something different. But that's what I'm sticking with for right now. It can be a little frustrating trying to get the hands on because the pegs, if you notice, are on those. That's where the joint is, and sometimes that thing will bend around. But the good part is you can swivel all parts of this to get up and down or the side-to-side action, whichever you need. In both instances here, the up and down will be what we need. That sleeve doesn't seem to want to go up quite as far as the other one. Feel free to tell me in the comments because I just watched it the other day, but I cannot remember off the top of my head if he pushes his sleeves up in this movie or not. All right, so there's that. Oh, he's got the storage. I'm curious to see how this is going to work. Okay, let's get that angry head on there. All right. Oh, I love that face so much. That's what's going on the shelf. Articulation wise, I mean, it's standard this size guy Mezco articulation. There's a ball joint here. There's a pretty functional ball joint upper torso. I mean, this is, you can see you can get a full range. Part of the reason that I find these figures to be so great, because I do think this is the greatest action figure line of all time, but it does require some patience. Because with the clothing, they can make these joints that function incredibly well, just as well as any Japanese figure you've got. But the ugly joints are hidden by the soft goods, which are, as you're seeing here, immaculately executed. Look at the shoes. Ah. And then the texture on the trousers, it's just one of the things that Mezco is incredible at this scale, getting all of this stuff to look right. It drapes well, it folds well, it looks like it's supposed to look. And it really is just an incredible achievement. Look at this. Oh man. I'm going to go ahead and put the jacket back on because I'm not displaying him without the jacket. All right, get those back. Hopefully the shirt sleeves will just slide right in and we won't run into any resistance with the materials. That's another thing. If you notice, the interior of this is lined with this sort of, well, it's not even lined. It's just the interior of this treated leather-esque stuff. I guess the base of it. It's sort of satiny and slick. So hopefully there won't be any resistance between the fabrics of the shirt and the jacket as you're putting the jacket back on. Because that's, you know, that's the problem when you're dealing with clothed figures. Look at that. Just pull that collar up a little bit. Swing those arms into place. And good as new. You know, when you're dealing with a mass market, you know, Mattel or Hasbro release or whatever, it's a little different. You don't always get that kind of, you know, oftentimes when you're dealing with something like that, it's, well, I'm never taking that jacket off because I'll never get it back on looking the same way again. And then that's just the nature of what they're manufacturing. Whereas with something like this, the intent is to be able to customize the look. And due to the quality of the materials and the workmanship and the budget of the project, they have more freedom to create something that works better like that. Gosh, that face is just blowing me away. I love it so much. But yeah, all of the articulation is great. Oh, look, he's even got sock detail up there. Now, this is the one, oh my gosh, did they not bother to do anything with his ankles? This is the one area where I've always had complaints about Mezco, is their ankles are terrible. They do nothing. Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm zoomed in 3 times. Their ankles they're just terrible. They don't do anything. And I have no other comment about that. But in general, you can still tend to get dynamic poses out of the figures. Gosh, I know I keep going on about it, but how good is that portrait? And again, it's just that we just don't see that face a whole lot. Look, I'm hitting on my thumbnail pose as we go right here because this just looks awesome. I love it. So there is, I mean, look, there is a little movement in that ankle. You can move it around just enough to where you are going to be able to get some action stances, action poses. And of course, he's being a challenge now that I've said that. There you go. I will be using the stand because, again, on my Mezco shelves, I've got a little more room than some of my other shelves. That is fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other stuff. I hope I talked about everything that you needed to be talked about. No, wait, that's not going to work. Okay, so we have a coiled whip that I guess I now have to deal with. How does the storage work for this thing? The first problem I see is that it shouldn't be a perfect circle like this. It should really be a little more oblong, right? Because when it's hanging, it's going to be more like that. Well, okay, so no, that's not true. That's something I made up in my head because this is a whip, not rope. It has, if you've ever held a bullwhip, it's not like rope. It doesn't just hang there. It has a springing, not a springiness, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't just droop. Like it kind of coils out. I don't know if either of the posed whips we have here, like when you're just holding it, it will have, oh wait, wrong end. It will have sort of this. It doesn't just droop directly off of the handle. It has a tensile quality to it. So actually, coiled up like this more round shape might be accurate. So we've got 2 different dynamic sort of posed whips. And I mean, what can I say about them? That's what they look like. Just beautifully sculpted. Look at the braiding. I guess we'll go back into the zoom. Look at the braiding detail on this. Really fantastic. And I don't know if I think there should have been a soft goods whip or not. Like a leather, you know what I mean? Like a leather one, like the jacket. I kind of do. I'm not mad that there isn't one, but like thinking about, you know, if they do a Temple of Doom one, well, then they have to do a soft goods, or they have to do one like this that's curled at the end so you can put it around a Willie Scott figure that'll never get made. Which, by the way, I'll tell you right now, if you've made it 30 minutes into this, feel free to leave your comments and thoughts. Temple of Doom is my favorite of the movies. Make what you will of that. I would buy Temple of Doom Indy, Short Round, Willie Scott, like all of it in a second. And it drives me nuts that no company commits. It's kind of like Star Trek 2. No company will commit to full lines of this stuff. And I've got these incomplete collections that drive me crazy. All right, so anyway, those are the two different forms. This one's a little smoother, and I would be willing to bet if I were to talk to somebody from Mezco, which I would love to do for the Creator Series at some point. And actually, I haven't hit them up yet. I should try again. It's been a few years since I got the no response from them. I'm sure they could tell you exactly which dynamic each of these was. I'm going to put this one, just because, in Indy's hand. Oh, I don't think I put that in correctly. There's a goofy thing to not know exactly how to put the whip back in the box. So I am going to put this in that hand. Oh, come on. The hands are a more flexible. Oh, I wonder. No, see, I feel like it should be angled down a little more. Let's put that back and try the other one. Interesting that you don't really know until you get into the figure which one, you know, until you put it in the figure's hand and see how it looks. See, I don't know if that one necessarily looks better. I would like one that's angled down a little more, so it's more of a, he's getting ready to crack it. But I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Okay. Oh, no, I'm not, because I've got to see how it fits onto the belt. I'm like avoiding this because I'm so concerned about how this is going to work. See, this is what I need instructions for. Is this... Do I pull on this? Let's zoom back in. Let's go for the 5. Yeah. So is this a button going through a hole in this strap? Is it? Yeah, it appears to be. All right, well, here we go. I'm either going to figure this out or ruin it. But that's what I'm here for. Yep. Thank goodness. And then that goes there. And then fortunately, this is a soft enough... That actually works quite nicely. Whew. Okay, so we're good there. And despite the fact that I just put that whip on his hip, that's his hip whip, I'm going to put this one in his hand. Because, why not? That's the look we gotta have, right? So that one goes in the hand. Oh. Mind your zooms. Okay. We'll stand him over here. He's standing up very nicely, by the way. And we'll take a look at his piece next. Once again... 5 zoom. 5 zoom's pretty nice. Just a little revolver. And as I suspected, this turns. Well, it's a separate piece. I don't know that it... Oh my gosh, it does turn. And it's got shells in there. Holy cow. Now, does that... Look at that. You can see... I'm a little concerned about... I don't want to just pop it out of there. But it does turn, and you can see... Oh, here it goes. I mean, it's coming out either way. I have a feeling it's just a separate little cylinder with nothing attached. Well, that's as far as I'm going to go, but look at that. Crazy. And that just pops right back in there. So yeah, I think that's probably, there are probably two little nubs in here that fix this in place. I'm just going to leave it where it is for now, but detail is crazy. It's got a port in the front, so if you've got blast effects you want to use, you can. I almost don't want to bother putting it in his hand because you know it's going to fit. It's never been a problem with 112 stuff. Yeah, there you go. Now we got to figure this situation out, which I have also not been looking forward to. So there is a wire right here, and this also seems to have a wire in it. So I'm just going to put this in here, maybe. There we go. This feels so not secured, but it's because there's a loop of thread it's sewn on to the belt with that. So it's deceptively secure. But now I'm concerned how far in. Okay. All right. There we go. So that goes in that far. That folds over, which is exactly, how that works. And then this piece yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but it works. Like looks wise, because you couldn't have done this button situation because there's nothing as secure as that belt on this to make that happen. Okay, I'll take it. I mean, look, I don't necessarily love the mechanics of it, but visually that's what it looks like. All right. Okay. You got me, Mezco. What else have we got here? The fertility idol. Whoop. Look at the detail in the teeth. The wash that was done there. And on the back. Very nicely done, and then that will sit right there. And then also the bag of sand that doesn't quite weigh the same as the idol. You can sit there. Maybe just to be funny. Well, but then I'd have him holding the idol. I don't know how I'm going to pose this on the shelf. And then that bag of sand will interact with I'm going to say you could use it. Obviously, this hand, either of these hands could hold it. But as far as gripping the top, you've got these hands that would work for that. We've got a little... Oh, we've got the punji darts, maybe? What are the darts that fly out of the walls? I don't know that I need that, but neat that they're in there. I guess I got to take them out. We've come this far. I wish... I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. I wish that the Indiana Jones Micro Collection set had come out that was planned. Google that if you've never seen it or heard of it. We've got spider webs with horrendous little spiders. Absolutely disgusting. And that will just sort of clip onto his back. Like so, and stays on. I'll put that right back in there because I'm not going to be displaying him with that. Torch that I thought had a flame effect. But maybe not. Let's see. Nope. Oh, cool. Okay. So yeah, the torch has no flame effect, which I'm not going to lie, is a little disappointing. But let's bring our torch back because there is something neat here we have to take a look at. Oop. That slot right there from when he blocks the dart with the torch. Nice. It's that kind of cleverness and interaction that makes me just absolutely love Mezco. All right, and finally, the last piece, soft goods pouch. With a little padding in there to give it some thickness. You can fit, I'm assuming, the idol in there. Yep. So the idol can go right in there. It's got a little wire armature inside the flap to keep it closed. And then you've got the nice leather looking strap, complete with little metal rings. Looks great. I'm going to have to put that on him. I think we're going to go on that way. That seems right to me. Although I think he might have it under his jacket. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I think it might go under his jacket. I'm going to have to take a look and see references on that. Because I do, weirdly, it's important to me that that be accurate. So that's everything. That is Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Mezco 112 Collective. Beautiful action figure. This is... I've got the Sideshow Indy and Henry Jones. And I guess that Indy's probably from Last Crusade, now that I'm thinking about it. I haven't thought about it in years, probably since I bought it. So this is the finest Raiders Indy I've ever owned, for sure. And there he is. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about needless things. And until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like needless things.